Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of the GOW, the Generational Wrestling Podcast. As always, it's yours truly, the franchise, aka the showstopper, better known as the GOW's resident tribal chief. And with me, as always, I got my tag team partner, my brother, my family. He is the flyest in the room, Mr. 1, 2, 3. Pin that ass down, K Breezy, aka EC's resident Isaac Hayes King. Too cold, bro. What's good?
Hey, man, you know what it is, man. It's Friday night, man. It's the block party night. You know, we going to kick it as we always do. But tonight, man, we doing something a little different. So, my boy, I need you to do what you do.
Man, say less, say less. We got the ODDYSSEY, the O Show, Odyssey. Don't you dare call him Jones in the building. Odyssey, what's going on, my guy?
I love that. You did it great. What up, world? It's your boy Oddyssey, 2Ds, No Jones, a.k.a. Big O, a.k.a. the Mall on Mission, a.k.a. the Corp City Crusher. Let's get it, GOW!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Oh.
Well, hey, look, man, first of all, we want to say thank you very much, man, for taking the time to join us here on the GOW. It's nighttime here. It's daytime over there. But before we get into all the, the properness of the show, let me ask you something, brother. How are you? How you doing?
I'm staying blessed, bro. Blessed and highly favored, man. I'm out here, how you just said it before, nighttime there, daytime here. I'm out here on the other side of the world working on my Japanese, a little south of Tokyo, in the dojo at All Japan Pro Wrestling, one of the most historic wrestling promotions in Japan. And I'm honored to be here, blessed to be here, blessed to be doing what I love to do at a high level again, and blessed for the challenge. And honestly, just the opportunity, because it's not every day, people like us get to go to the other side of the world and do things we love to do and see things we love to see. So I'm doing great, brother.
Absolutely. Hey, man, so with that being said, dude, hey, look. So I'm gonna get right into it. So we over here in Japan right now, brother. You just said something. People like us, we don't necessarily get an opportunity, especially, man. Coming from where we come from, travel outside our city, our state, much less the country. You all the way on the other side of the world, man. Even before that, you had some time in WWE. You was a hell of an athlete. Even before then, you got discovered by Mark Henry. But how much, if any, was a culture shock, man, when you went over there to Japan? Especially, hey, we brothers. And then you ain't just a regular brother, man. You a big dude, man. So what was it like, man, going over there for the first time?
It was dope. The company was so kind and respectful for me. When I landed, the actual president and player personnel came to the airport and met me in the airport, walking around, and I'm still kind of learning the language and the lingo. Japanese is very hard, but they showed me nothing but love. The people, it's kind of funny because when they see me, I could tell they want to stare. Yeah. But it's like against their culture, it's kind of rude to do that. So like it's funny when you see like a little kid trying to stare and the mom's like, stop, look forward. Like it just kind of cracks me up because the kids stare. Like I get it. I'd stare at me too if I were you.
Yeah.
As a big guy, coming to a different place, are you worried about the style? Or like I know we were kind of having a conversation a little bit before we got on, but are you worried about your style, meshing with what they do and adjusting?
I started looking at it differently and not so much egotistically, just realistically. Their style got to match with what I do. I'm the big man. I'm the elephant in the room. The elephant don't conform to the mouse. You know what I'm saying? The elephant don't change what he do for the other person. The other person got to change, and they got to work themselves around me. So as I kind of grow in my career, and it's funny we had this conversation because just the other day I realized I don't really got that many matches. I just had my 86 career match not that long ago. I'm not even at 100 matches. So I'm still kind of figuring myself out and still growing in my confidence. I thank God and I thank Christ for moments that I went through to help me grow massively, like leaps and bounds in my confidence, dealing with life and turmoil and things of that nature. So as I grow in my confidence, I'm starting to realize how much others have to perform to me and work towards me. So, I didn't know how I would fit with the strong style, and I didn't fully know if they would respond how I'd wanted them to respond. But as of late, every single cue I want them to hit, they hit. Every, move where I think they should cheer or they should like this, they've been cheering and then some. So it's been great. It's been a pleasure and an honor.
You know, going over there, you said learning the lingo, learning the language, and things like that. We see so much of that with foreign talent coming over to America, right? Whether it's AEW, WWE, TNA. For you as an American going over there, you know, like you say, having to learn their culture, their lingo, how easy or difficult is it to call spots in the ring when you guys, you know, maybe had that, you know, communication barrier in between you?
So I'm fortunate right now. I'm working with professionals. This isn't like the indies. It's not um, a kid's first match or top 10 match or first 10 matches. In the ring, there's kind of like the language of wrestling.
Yeah.
So you don't kind of necessarily have to talk. When the things are kind of flowing a certain way. And I'm starting to see it more as I get more reps in ring. You could kind of feel when it's time to transition or counter or switch control. You could kind of feel when it's time to go from, the shine into the heat and start bringing it home with the finish. So you could kind of feel it. I was fortunate because here I have a couple people that I got to work with prior. Ike Manjuro with me at NXT
Yep.
way back when, and I had a match with him. I actually had one of my first matches with him, like first maybe 15 matches with him. And then Hideki Suzuki, another guy, he was with Diamond Mine back in the day at NXT. So I had a chance to kind of work with them prior, and I've also worked with people who speak more Spanish than English, which is different because I could speak a little bit of Spanish, but coming out here, I speak no Japanese. I'm getting it a little bit, but
Yeah.
still the flow, that wrestling flow, that language of wrestling is kind of kicking in, and I'm starting to kind of feel the groove with it.
King.
Being someone who is a former collegiate athlete, what is it like for you? Was wrestling, or should I say, was wrestling something that was always that second nature for you, or was it something that it kind of just fell into?
So I always wanted to do it. I always tell people this: when I was in college, they would ask me, my like academic advisors and professors would be like, "What are you gonna do if football doesn't work out?" I say, "I'm going to WWE." They're like, "You don't know that. You don't know if you can make it. You don't know if I'm like, trust me, I got it. I got it." And with everything happening, and my 3 weeks was such a eye opening, kind of a weird thing because it was like a weird positive and negative in the same time. My 3 weeks, I feel like I accomplished a lot in 3 weeks. I feel like I accomplished more in 3 weeks than people have accomplished in 3 months, 3 years. I think those 3 weeks kind of gave a good foundation for me to start with. And then, things kind of fell through and went separate ways, went a different direction. But those 3 weeks and being there kind of made me realize, I wasn't delusional. I got it. They always say a lot of successful people, things kind of start with delusion. It's delusion until it happens, right? It's a
Yeah.
dream until it comes to fruition. And it was a dream, and then it came to fruition real quick. So I think I got it. God given ability with how I am as a person and kind of my nature as an individual, and my athleticism, my size, my movement, and me. As a person, I think that meshed very well for what the wrestling world needs.
You talk about WWE, man. Mark Henry, you know, was one of the guys who ended up putting you on. Mark Henry, when you look at some of the people right now, the Bianca Belairs, the Jade Cargills, and you see where they are in the business right now, and then yourself, you said WWE was a dream, and you know we're gonna touch on that in a little bit, but you know Mark Henry. How much of an impact did he have on you? Did you guys, outside of him just, you know, recommending you to WWE and seeing you at the jiu-jitsu competition, did you guys actually form a relationship outside of that? Is he still somebody you consider a mentor to this day?
Yeah, I stay in touch with Mark often. I try not to blow him up too much because he's a busy guy.
Yeah.
He's got a lot going on, and I try to talk to him and kind of learn a bit from him, especially us being so similar and so different at the same time. But I think I always give praise to Mark because he went out for a limb. He went out on a limb, not just for me, but a lot of other brothers and sisters, like you said, who ended up being stars and talented people. And the reality is, and I don't want to turn this into a race thing, but brothers and sisters like us don't get chances. You get a
Yeah.
really short leash. You get, so to speak, I don't really like to say like we on a leash, but you get one mess up, you're done. You get one opportunity at the back of the line. You get one thing that doesn't go how they want it to go, and now you're deemed as a negative, blotch on the screen. You're looked at in not a great light in terms of our counterparts who get
Yeah.
constant chance and opportunity. But I mean, there's something in our culture that all of us kind of know. You got to work. You got to work, and you got to be 4 or 5 times as good just to get the one chance that people get. So yeah, I always got love for Mark. I crack jokes that if you ever see Mark, let him know. I'm more athletic and I'm better looking. I hope you don't see this because then he gonna call me talking shit. But but yeah, I love the brother for taking a chance with me, especially with how we met, and how things kind of fell into place. But yeah, Mark's always looking out for us, a lot of us, and always love for him.
One of the things that I that I love about you, and it's just my love for certain wrestlers, Bam Bam Bigelow, Hugh Morris, big guys that can just move. That have no problem coming off the top rope. Keith Lee, yourself. I've always been fascinated with just big guys that can move, agile, and can just do so much more than just a basic beat down. Just to be in the basic. What I want to know from you is, what is your thoughts on wrestling today? Because just the evolution of it, where people are saying that there's too much movement, there's not enough walking, there's not, and then some people saying there's too much walking, there's too much slow motion. What is your thoughts on where wrestling is right
Um, that's a great question. I'm still relatively new to the business.
now?
Like I said earlier, I don't even have 100 matches. I've only been in the industry for 6 years. When I think about it,
Yeah.
there's two things I find that kind of hinders it, and I'm sure you hear a lot of old heads say something similar. One is kayfabe is kind of gone. I think the veil is being peeled back too much. I think there's certain things, and I correlate things and compare things a lot to football because football was my life prior to this. You don't get to see the practice. The fans and people don't get to see the practice. You get to see the game. And I think in today's wrestling, there's too much seeing the practice, and there's too much seeing the things that go on in the back. I mean, it's one thing at the end of your career or towards the back end of your career when you have, a documentary or you get to see the hard times broken down over a duration, but every single step being shown in the
Yeah.
back to me is kind of disgusting. And two, there's no psychology anymore. I think with just, and I think it's partly culture. I think with how fast things are going and how short people's attention span is, everyone's always working for a viral moment. Everyone's always working for that big pop, and then everything else don't matter. We got the big pop. We had 1 million views at it. Who cares now? I think psychology is kind of dying, and people are kind of just doing stuff.
Yeah.
I might be a little biased because I can't do as much stuff as Will Ospreay, but I
Yeah,
could do what I do, and as you
make
take
it work.
myself
Yeah.
and what I am, and you mix me in with someone like him, then
Mhm.
we create a story together that is understandable, digestible, and relatable to the fans. So I think the two things is kayfabe being gone and psychology not being important anymore.
That's great.
You said something right before this point, and it's something, man. Me and my bro here, we talk a lot about, and we live in such sensitive political times, right, where people want to just kind of turn the other way and act like things don't exist. One of the biggest topics we talk about on this show is the way certain wrestlers get booked, and I'm talking about the black talent, I'm talking about the Hispanic talent, I'm talking about the Asian talent, like you said, in comparison to counterparts. Now, again, like I told you before the show, man, this ain't a gotcha thing. We brothers, we having a conversation. It for people who don't understand just how true that statement is and want to be like, well, if you're over, you're over. That's not necessarily true because we've seen certain people get slap on the wrist, DUI after DUI, offense after offense after offense. And the reason I say that is because I don't know your situation, but I'm gonna tell you this: when me and my guy, man, we was watching Raw. We see you, and it seemed like they they work you in the angle with the New Day, and it's like, all right, cool, cool, cool. Like, bro, this is going somewhere. We see you from NXT, you up on the main roster, like, damn, this is working. Where are they going with that? And then the next thing you know, poof, be gone. It's
Right.
not a we wish you well in your future endeavors, no anything. But then everybody else, it seems like no matter how bad the issues may be, there's always some type of sort of explanation or something. With you, man, do you feel like, and again, feel free not to answer, but do you feel like WWE mishandled your situation and how they went about your employment there?
100%. I mean, first thing before I say anything, I thank God that it happened this way because this whole thing, like I said before, it made me grow as a man. I
Yes.
grew more confident. I grew closer to Christ. I got to a low point and got to build up the right way, so to speak. Um, but yeah, I think they mishandled it. Even when I talked to them about the situation, when they called me and first told me, I laughed on the phone because I know what happened. I mean, at the end of the day, and I won't go dive too deep into it. I
Yeah.
won't drop names or anything. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, it was a woman upset that I was making moves without her. The narrative is it was my girlfriend, and this is kind of throwing me under the bus. It wasn't my girlfriend. It was one of my girls, one of my women that I was seeing when I was traveling, and she got upset that she wasn't the one. She got upset that she didn't get the access that she felt she deserved, and and most of it's public. You could even look deeper in it. I've had prior problems with her, so this goes to my ignorance and naiveness to it. I and lust, so to speak, that I gave her a second chance that she shouldn't have got. I was dealing with someone who wasn't equally yoked as me, and instead of trying to work to be on the same level, she says she's just going to tear me down, which is fine because at the end of the day, and I tell a lot of my friends this, and it's my turn to be in this kind of perspective, in this time of transition. The cream always rises to the top.
Yeah.
I think um, the talent will show. I think I think TKO was transitioning to more corporate and they were just scared. I still to this day, we're almost actually a year after. Still to this day, I don't even know what was said. I don't know what was even fully told. They're got me jumping through hoops just to get information. And the young lady isn't answering nothing. She didn't come to any court cases. She's not answering any summons or nothing. So it was really just, a hurt person trying to hurt someone one more time when they had a chance and kind of, stab me in the back and run away, so to speak. But like I said, it is what it is. I say this often. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm living my dream right now. I always said that I wanted to go to Japan, and I had the opportunity. I have the opportunity to be at one of the most historic promotions in Japanese history. All Japan Pro Wrestling is the Giant Baba, Antonio Inoki, prior to him going to establishing New Japan, started at All Japan, and so many other names. A lot of the top promotions, Noah, Dragon Gate, are all tied or have big time stars that was at All Japan, that started at All Japan. I have an opportunity to be here with two of my close friends in the business, in Zion Quinn and Jack Tellos. And we also have an unprecedented opportunity to work with a promotion that feels they truly believe in you. Being at the WWE, and I don't know if it's just a me thing. I don't know if it's a black thing. I don't know if it's a not being grandfathered in as if my dad, my mother, my uncle, my aunt, my grandfather wasn't in the business. It never really felt like they believed in you,
Yeah.
believed in me. And I think if you talk to a lot of talent, um, I think they'll say similar things, not comparing myself to other people because there is no comparison. My situation is, tailor made for me to go through. But it's nice to be somewhere where they believe in you and they give you a chance to truly shine. And I can't say enough, man. I'm only at match 86, 87.
Yeah.
So I'm still, a young pup, and people was talking to me like I'm a vet, and I'm still kind of learning and growing myself. So, to answer your question, yeah, I felt like they mishandled it, but to sit here and talk about the past is
Yeah.
irrelevant. I'm a work on the present to make a better future. The past is just history for me to learn and how to operate and be better. And now I know certain things, certain red flags, just walk away. Certain people, certain situations, just walk away. And God willing, maybe I'll go back, maybe I won't go back, but I have faith that I'll be exactly where I need to be, where and when I need to be there. So I'm not really stressing too much. I might should be, and I don't know. People look at me crazy for talking and thinking that way, but nah, I think I'll just take my walk and kind of see where things lead to.
Got to see where that next journey takes you. I know we
Yes,
got
sir.
to let you go and get you out of here, man. But I wanted to know real quick, what's that other thing for you, Odyssey, man? That other thing that you wanna that you have an interest in besides wrestling, man. What else is that? That something that you, even if it's not right now that you're gonna do it, but it's something later on that you got your eye on.
That's a great question. One thing I always wanted to do was to help others and kind of give back. Prior to everything going on, I actually started a foundation, a Journey Foundation, to help young men and women kind of learn and to understand that they have opportunities in this world outside of what we're told. And I know it's difficult because I'm an entertainer, so I'm kind of in that niche of what we're told. But growing up, I didn't realize until I got older how much more we are capable of. We always, and when I say we, I'm talking of the Black community. It always feels like we're being told that we could only play sports, then dunk a basketball, sing, dance. That's rap. That's the thing that gets you out. Nah, there's so much other things. There's STEM. There's just so much other things you can do to kind of grow as a person and impact the world positively. And I wanted to create something to help with that. And I'm hoping that as I pick myself back up and go through these experiences and these journeys of life, that I could take this and be able to instill the knowledge or instill the experience to the next generation, or to other young men and women, to help them grow faster and avoid pitfalls that I kind of hit myself. So I always wanted to give back, and to operate with people. I mean, a lot of people don't know, I've worked with, you know, I've worked with elderly care in my past. I've worked with children with autism, and to understand the grace and kind of patience and love that they take. I kind of want to take that and give that to every and anyone, to be honest. So anything where I can help people grow, help the community be better, and put more love, inject some more love into this world, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it.
Definitely need
Absolutely.
plenty of that, man. Well, man, I wanted to wish you continued success on your journey.
Thank
Can't
you,
wait to
brother.
see more of you. Again, like I said, big fan. Can't wait to see what you're gonna do over in Japan. Man, just thank you for your time today, bro.
Thank you. Oh, this was quick. I got more time.
No,
I
no,
got
no,
to.
no. I'm passing it on to my
Oh,
bro. I know he got
oh,
something to
hold
say,
on.
but I just
Okay.
want to give you my flowers, bro. That's all. I'm just
I
giving
got
you
I
your
got at
flowers,
least
man.
another 30.
I just want to give you that love,
Oh,
bro.
well, look. If you got 30, we got 30. We
We
just
got
want to
we
make
got
sure we
we
wasn't
can still
holding you up.
Sure.
go.
We don't, all right, well, let's keep this thing rolling, man. Hey, see, I like you, man. I like you.
I appreciate you.
Boss man, I know we talking about your wrestling journey. We're gonna get into a little bit more personal as well. And we're gonna keep it lighthearted, but the one thing I noticed you said time and time again, man, you always go back to your faith, you always go back to God, you always go back to Christ. Me, I'm a firm believer, man. Myself. With that being said, I got a twofold question for you. As a man of faith, as a black man of faith, where was that faith instilled in you? And as somebody that has a platform, do you feel like your faith, because you, like you said, as entertainers and artists, man, and athletes, you kind of are expected to be in a box. Do
Mm-hmm.
you feel like your outwardly expression of your faith has been a hindrance at times, or do you feel like it's been the complete opposite?
So to answer the first question, I've always, well, for the past few years, um, probably 3 or 4 years, I've been slowly, excuse me, growing that way, kind of just seeing things. And as I kind of climbed, I started to see kind of a nasty side of the world and a nasty side of people. In the entertainment business, I'm sure people hear stories of it. It's some of the nastiest you'll see, and wrestling is not that far from Hollywood.
Yeah.
Um, so I've been slowly growing to it. But what really, truly pushed me, and this is why I thank God for this moment, was getting released. Because my two biggest fears at the moment was one, losing my dream job, because nothing hurts more than when you work hard for something and put so much time and energy and sacrifice and the pain and the objectification. When you put all this to it, all these resources to your dream, and you get it, you want to hold on to it and hold fast to it. And so that was one fear. And the other fear was this woman attacking me, because she's I'm not gonna talk too much about her, but
Yeah.
she was a cruel person. She was very mean to me. She was very, she wasn't a nice person at all. And I kind of, I shouldn't have let it go so far. I shouldn't have gave her so much access to me. I shouldn't have let her, into the gates, so to speak. But I did, because I was operating in grace and empathy and love, as always. That's all I know. My mom and dad kind of put that in me. They have nothing but love and patience for me, and my older sister, and even my friends have nothing but love and patience for me. So I always try to reciprocate that to everyone. But I say this was a great moment, because I got torn down to the lowest point I've ever been in while this happened. It was last August was a roller coaster. You know, the debut, the 3 weeks to get released. I wake up one day, was trending to 500,000 people calling me a wife beater, and that I should burn in hell, and this, that, and the third, and they don't even know what's going on, and I don't know what's going on, and I have to basically sit and wait. I couldn't work, basically, because no one was really willing to, operate with me. And I'll never forget, man, I had a day that was just so bad. I was so defeated, and I'm one of those people. I'm very optimistic and upbeat and positive in my nature. So to be down that bad kind of felt crazy. And I'll never forget, I opened up my Bible app, and it was Psalms 34:18, one of my favorite verses. It says, the Lord is close to those brokenhearted and save those crushed in spirit. And I was brokenhearted and crushed in spirit. And then that was when I first truly felt, I felt it before, but that was when it was definitively there, 100%. Christ is with me all the time, 24/7, no doubt about it. And that's when I started shifting uh, kind of rapidly, where the dream is just a dream. At the end of the day, it probably was honestly rooted in pride, to be honest. And now my real dream is to be closer to Christ, and to grow in my faith as a man, and to go through these battles, because people say what they say about Christians, or say what they say about followers of Christ, but you're warriors, man, because it is not easy. It's very difficult, as a person that I feel is fairly accomplished. And, I kind of hit every goal I've ever set, damn near every goal I've ever set. This is a goal that is almost unattainable. It's just a constant kind of daily grind. They say you pick up your cross every day. It's a constant grind. So that was really what kind of put me over the edge, was that moment. And then to answer your second question, you talked about my platform and being able to use it, and if it's pushback. Uh, you know, I'm out here for men. I love men. And when I say men, I love humans. I love
Yeah.
people, and I'd love to give back to society, and I'd love to be able to make a positive impact in the world. but I'm not here. I'm not here to make people happy. I'm here to I'm here to be a tool to allow the light of God to shine through me, to allow the kingdom of heaven to expand. I'm not here for that. So I try to kind of, I don't want to say separate it, but I try to, I don't try to, force anything. If you want to talk to me, we could talk. I answer damn near anyone. I always talk about it. You could get mad about it. Get mad. I'm gonna still believe what I believe, and I know what I've been through. I know what I've experienced. I know what I've seen. I know what I've felt. So I'm always going to the death of me scream, Christ is Lord. And people could attack me or not, but at the end of the day, I fear God. What can mortals do? I already been torn down to the lowest point I've ever been in my life, and I'm still standing. So that was, mortals tearing me down. The only person that could ever truly crush me and destroy me is God. So I have no problem talking about it. I don't try to be overwhelming because people get uncomfortable, and it's an uncomfortable thing to talk about, but I will always say it. You hear me say it in this interview. I probably said God and Christ every other every other statement, because
you can't never say
it enough, brother. Can't say it enough, because at the end of the day, and I've humbled myself to the reality of this. I'm nothing without Christ. Without Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, I'm nothing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bro.
For sure. Man, first and foremost, man, I like I said, I appreciate you for being open. Here, like I said, we respect your privacy and everything. So, you being as open and honest with us, we appreciate you for that, because that's what we want to display. We want to show your honesty and who you are. So we appreciate you for that. And again, I can't, I don't think I can say anything better than what you just said. As far as the Lord and Him being that guidance for us through our tough times, and like I said, all we could do really for you is, just keep our prayers up for you, man, and that good faith, and be proud of what you're doing, and just keep moving forward. So, but with that though, that's a lot to say, man. But here at the Wrestling Podcast, I gotta ask this question. I always like to ask everybody, man.
Yes, sir.
Who is somebody in this business, man, that you want to give that work to? All right, before we get out of here, man, who is that person, man, and that you like, man, I love this person. I see this person. This is somebody I know that if we ever got into it, we can work our magic.
There's a few. I mean, I kind of feel like I could work with anyone for one, because I feel two things. One, outside of just the size, because people always kind of look at the size. The personality. I feel like I could go with anyone and they won't outshine me, so to speak. When you watch a match and you see it, and it's like they shouldn't even be like in the ring together. I don't feel that way with anybody. I feel like I could go with anyone if it's from from Roman Reigns to Brock Lesnar to AEW to Swerve to Moxley to Kento and All Japan to whoever. I feel like I could go with anybody and make magic, and suspend belief and get the people going. I think that's a gift that I got from God, so I could rock with anybody. But some people that I just love seeing, that I think would be fun because of the personalities that we both have. And I got to meet him a few times. One is Daniel Garcia. He cracks me up. With the hump in the air. And then there's a few of my friends in the business that I've had the opportunity to work with. The AJ Francis. I've worked with him multiple times. Brother helped me grow as a worker a lot. Even big man Omos, I think because of our comfortability together, I think I could pull out a side of him that a lot of people don't get. I mean, he looked great at Triple Mania.
Yeah.
He looked amazing. The Micro Man spot had me dying. I saw that. Brother, this is awesome. I love it. Da, 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 da. But I think I could bring out a lot in him. And the list really goes on, man. I'd love, I know Keith Lee was a little banged up and he's kind of been gone, but I'd love to work with Keith Lee. I'd love to work with Swerve. I'd love to work with, the obvious, the top dogs in WWE, Roman, Cody, Seth, Gunther, basically you name it, anybody. If I have to give an all-time, my whole, dead or alive, prime, the one person, my favorite wrestler has always been Rey Mysterio. And,
Okay.
I think going with Rey Mysterio would be amazing. Yeah, I see it back there. I think going with Rey would be awesome. I think it'd be so cool. I mean, even going with Dominic, I think would be cool. But yeah, man, anybody, brother, anybody. I'm taking on all challenges.
Let me ask you this, man. What was your welcome to the ring moment? Like, you hear basketball players talk all the time about welcome to the league moment when I got crossed up, dunked on. Ray Lewis talking about the first time he got put on his ass, which is very rare. For you, man, being as big and as strong and as athletic as you are, getting into this wrestling space, what was the first match or moment or bump you took where you was like, damn, man, this shit real?
So I've been fortunate and blessed to not have too many wild or shitty moments on TV or recorded. But off the top of my head, there was two moments that kind of stick to me. One was one of my first matches back from injury. So I wasn't physically shaky. I just mentally wasn't all the way there. And it was actually my first main event match in my career. It was a house show. I think it was like a 6-man or 8-man. And I could just tell that the rust was still there. And I was still a little off with the beats and a little slow and things of that nature. So that was kind of a moment that kind of opened my eyes to things. And another one that I have off the top of my head was I remember working house shows with Omos. We did about maybe 3 weeks of house shows.
Yeah.
And we were kind of tinkering with the match and had a promo with Omos, MVP, and myself. And I remember, I always forget, like, I'm big, but that brother is big. I remember having a spot where he's on the rope and I had to like hit the ropes and give him something, and he kind of popped me, and he kind of got me, dropped my ass, growling, oh, where the fuck am I? So I stumbled to the corner just to get out of the middle, because when you get to the corners and the ropes, it's a bit easier to operate, to work, communicate, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And I stumbled and I was like, oh, I was lost for a quick little second. So that was kind of a moment where I kind of got my bell rung, so to speak. But like I said before, I've been fortunate. I haven't had too many shell shock moments. A lot of things have gone how how it should have gone, and how we kind of built things to go.
Okay.
What is, as someone who's been in the ring with him and kind of seeing things maybe that we don't get to see on TV, what is something about Omos that you can say that people don't know, as far as what he actually can do, what he can't do? Just because I feel like you said, Triple Mania, he shows so much more than what we ever really seen in WWE, even just in that little small space, and even everything he's been doing before it. But as someone who's kind of seen it that we haven't seen, what's that thing about him that people don't understand?
His personality. He has such a great personality. He is, he's built as a monster because he's a large black man, and unfortunately, in this world, large black men are King Kong. I don't know why. I tried my hardest to counter that trope and went out of my way to create a character that isn't me being raw, raw, I'm big, I'm mad, I'm black. But they just kind of have him built into that. And I get that he's large, but he has so much personality. If you let him get it out, and if you don't put him in that box and you allow him to kind of be himself, and I think he'll grow to that as time goes, because as of now, it's just the easier way to write him for some reason. But knowing him personally and being in ring and kind of cracking jokes when we're working and kind of saying things to kind of open him up, so to speak. He has a lot of personality that gets stifled because of how they want his character to be.
I can see that. I can see that. Dude, look, I know this is a wrestling interview, but we're gonna break up the monotony a little bit. You know, I feel like we starting to get a little comfortable with each other. So man, we're gonna talk, man. We gonna be boys being boys. Hey, look, I'm gonna ask you this, man.
Sure.
Your gym playlist, you in there, man, you get it in, you ready to go slap up, I don't know, man, somebody in All Japan, maybe get ready to slap up somebody in AEW, might want to curb stomp somebody in WWE. You know, that's your prerogative. Man, in your headphones, who we listening to, man, to get you ready for an ass whooping?
Okay. So I got a lot of rap R&B. People gonna get mad when I say this. I'm a big Kanye guy. You know, especially the old Kanye, straight from the soul Kanye. Yep. I like Kendrick over Drake, even though Drake got some fire too. Every now and then to switch it up and to kind of calm me down, I hit some Bob Marley. Yeah. And those kind of three is constantly played. And then there's, a few other people that sprinkled in, a little Jay-Z here, a little Lil Wayne there, and things like that gets me going. It don't take me much to wake the fuck up. So I thank God for that. I'm ready. I'm just kind of like a get up and go kind of guy, which is nice for me. But yeah, those is kind of who I got rocking in my headphones when I'm in the gym or going for a walk or cardio or just get my mind off things.
I'm going to steal this question from Seamus, and I got to give Seamus credit. I've seen him ask you, so I got to ask you. What's one song or artist that if anybody find out, you'd be like, damn, man, I'm kind of embarrassed. Do you get that one song, man, that guilty pleasure?
Yeah, you do. Yeah. I definitely do. I got to which one is more acceptable to play. This a throwback to me in high school, but I don't know why, but this is whenever it like pops on, I get excited, a little too excited, low key. But Miley Cyrus, Party in the USA.
Hey, the hood rock with Miley, bro.
I thought it was gonna say Wrecking Ball. I don't gonna lie, for me, I thought it was gonna say Wrecking Ball.
Oh no, I mean Wrecking Ball is cool too, but it's a little played out. I don't know. Party in the USA just seems
it just got you right, get you hyped.
Upbeat, yeah, catchy. It's like fun, like in the barbecue or just something. Then you start moving your hips a little bit and stuff. Yeah, that's kind of like my little go-to right there. That it gets sprinkled in here and there, and I don't skip it. I'm not saying I go out of my way for it, but if it stumbles on the lap, I'll let it rock.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna play out. It's gonna play out. I like it. I like it. All right, man. Like I said earlier, man. As a former, collegiate player yourself, man, it's about that time of the year, man. So I gotta ask, man. At least for the pro side of things, man. Who first of all, who's your team that you're rocking with, and how do you think this? Even for us, I mean, we kind of know what it's going to be like for us here in Cleveland. But what are your thoughts on the whole Shedeur quarterback situation? Just if you've been seeing it or paying attention to it.
So, my one of my favorite players growing up was Donovan McNabb, Cuse alum. Shout out to D-Mac. And I grew up an Eagles fan, especially back in the day when I was younger. They had that 3 straight NFC championships and lost 3 straight NFC championships. And now lately they've had a resurgence, defending champions, a ass whooping with the Chiefs, busted their ass. And I'd love to see them go back to back. So the Eagles is definitely my squad, but I've grown to not be more of a team guy. I've grown to be kind of a player guy, especially with the fantasy football. And I like sports betting. I can't help it. It's like,
me too. I'm guilty.
Yeah, it kind of gives me a little rush, and it kind of makes me care a little bit. You put a few dollars on the line. Nothing crazy. I'm not putting $1,000, 14-leg parlays, but you get a little 20 piece on a 4 or 5 leg.
A little sprinkle,
Yeah, a little something. Just get you going a bit. And with the Shedeur thing, I think it's embarrassing. Yeah. I think it was disgusting. I think it was I think it shows the NFL, the NFL, especially in comparison to the NBA, because that's the next largest kind of sports industry and business. It just shows that it's still a boys' club. It shows that it's still a bunch of billionaires playing with millionaires' money. and things of that nature. To me, it's embarrassing. I think it's egregious. I think it was just an attack at Deion because of what he did. Deion Sanders. They could say what they want and they could throw hate. He turned the college football world upside down. He had the top recruit go to Jackson State, which I didn't even know where that school was. I think it's in like Mississippi or some shit. And then to have him go to Jackson State and then to transfer to Colorado to go get the coaching job at Colorado, who was irrelevant. Granted, Colorado has a great program tradition, but in the past, this turn of the century, Colorado's been the laughing stock of not only the Pac-12, but the Big 12. But to go there with his son, both of his sons, and do what he did, I think that shit was dope. I think it's like LaMelo Ball. I think it's LeVar Ball type level. You know what I mean? And I think it's fire. And I don't want to get too much on the race thing, but they hate seeing a brother. They hate seeing brothers shine, man. They hate when you turn the world upside down real quick. They get real mad at that shit, and that's what I think Shedeur did. I know the Browns. They said they got him fourth string or whatever. I think Shedor's talented. I think what he did in Colorado granted, he had great wide receivers. He didn't have a good O-line. He didn't have much of a running back room. The defense was a little lackluster his 2 years there. And, he brings more than just, the ability on the field. At the end of the day, it's still a business. You have to bring in people that bring in eyes. And Shedeur brings in eyes. He's a household name. More people, the common man and woman probably know Shedeur Sanders more than they know Travis Hunter. And Travis Hunter is the defending Heisman Trophy winner. So, I think it's just basic hate. Brothers shook things up how they didn't want it to be shaken. And now they got to kind of humble him and bring him down. That's a common thing. We see it all the time. Shit, I went through it in a sense. You got to be your bridges. You getting too high on yourself, brother. To calm that shit down, so you get calmed down. And that's kind of what I think it was.
Speaking of entertainment and bringing eyes to it, sports, specifically basketball, football, baseball, and where I think combat, UFC, basketball, UFC, football, MMA, all that, WWE. The one thing that's the talk of the town right now, man, everybody cutting the cord, right? And it seems like it's more expensive now with all these goddamn apps than it was when you had cable. And now, me and my guy, we was talking like, dude, there's no reason why we got to download Amazon, you got to have Hulu, you got to have Netflix, you got to have all this, man, just to watch the games. To you, do you think eventually that there's going to come a point to where the NFL, the NBA, WWE, they're going to realize this isn't working? Or do you think we're just at that point where we're too far gone, where everything is just all about monopolizing money as far as the entertainment game?
I mean, we're a capitalist society, so they're just going to keep trying to squeeze the pulp as much as possible. I know with WWE, with what they did with TKO signing to Netflix, I think it was like $5 billion over 5 years, and they get to reset after 3 or something, and recently signing to ESPN. I think that's just going to be a constant thing, especially in this country, and that's just kind of, how the government, how the USA works. I've grown to stop looking at it as a country and just look at it more as a corporation, especially as I get the opportunity to live in Japan. It's funny because, I'm out here and I'm like, dang, it's wild to think that the government actually care about you, right? Like, it's wild to think that you could get drinking water from the pipes that's clean, and you could get cheap food that's not bullshit and GMO and pesticides and preservatives. And I think I saw the other day they did a recall on Walmart shrimp because it had radioactive isotopes and bullshit. Like, stop it. Like, but I have my own vision to it. I have my own ideologies to it. They don't care about us. And when I say us, it's not just being black in America. If you're not of a certain socioeconomic status, they don't give a shit about you. If you don't got enough money, let's say $10 million gets you a piece on the board and $50 million gets you to move it around faster. if you don't got a piece on the board, they don't give a shit about you. You know, we all kind of, you know, before slaves was chains, and now slaves is just debt, and everything is built and structured in debt. You can't get a house without being in debt. You can't have credit cards. You can't do shit. I could have $1 million liquid, but it's not equivalent to $1 million in credit, which is ridiculous. But it's just kind of what it is. And, you know, unfortunately in this world, we got to play this game, and we got to kind of adjust and conform to the principalities that's in place and kind of move properly, and, you know, take care of ourselves and take care of each other and operate in a certain level to succeed and to be comfortable and take care of our family and friends. So it's just the way it is, man.
Man, preach, brother, preach. Bro, one more question?
Yes, sir.
My man, you are over there. You are in Japan. So I got to ask this question, my man. Are you an anime fan?
Oh, man. I'll keep it a buck. You got me scared for a second. I thought you were going to say some freak bullshit.
No. I ain't going to do that to you now, man. I ain't going to do that to you now.
Nah, dude, I love anime. I'm a big anime guy. I've grown onto it, grown big into it as I got older. You know, my favorite is One Piece. I think One Piece, I know it's like they're like 158 chapters in, but to me, the world building is ridiculous. The concept to be 1,100 plus chapters in, and you still introducing new characters. That just shows how great the storytelling is. You know, Oda is amazing. I pray for his health. I hope he finishes the story, because, you know, he has to take some breaks because it's a lot, man. It's a lot of work that goes into it. You know, he writes it, he draws it, he gets the people doing it. So I love One Piece. I mean, there's a ton of good ones. A few I watched, a few I haven't watched. You know, I love One Punch Man. I love My Hero. They got the next season coming out soon. I got to get into Demon Slayer, and
that's some good shit. Demon Slayer.
Yeah, I hear that's just fire. Fire Force. I wasn't the biggest fan of Attack on Titan, but I'll probably sit and watch it. You know, I got a lot of free time now, so I'll probably check it out. But yeah, I love anime, man. It's beautiful to see how they can construct such a in-depth world and do it at the same time while it's being how it's comparative to the real world. It's just mind-blowing, the creativity that people got.
All right, okay. I just had to make sure. I'm like, man, you out there, man. You out there, brother. You.
Oh yeah, I'm in the thick of it.
Yeah, I'm about to say I need to make sure. I just making sure you was gonna go out there and enjoy yourself.
They sell like action figures and figurines and things like that at 7-Eleven. You go to 7-Eleven out here, you could get everything. You could get from a bottle of whiskey to a chicken sandwich. You could get anything from 7-Eleven. It's nice out here, man. It's nice.
Boss man. We about to get ready to wrap it up, because I know you got to call in a few minutes. If you could just spare like 30 seconds once we get off, one more thing. But before we get out of here, brother, really quick, man to man, brother to brother, do you have a word, man, a specific Bible quote, something that means something to you before we get out of here? You want to leave with the people? And also, where can the people find you on all social media platforms, man?
Okay, I got you, brother. I got you. I'll start with the Bible verse. My favorite verse is Proverbs 3, chapter 3, verse 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Place the Lord first, and he shall correct your path. Focus on God. Don't focus on the world. The world lies. The world is flawed. God isn't. So always put God first, and never forget that when you go through highs and lows and the trials and tribulations. Never forget who went through the biggest trial and tribulation for you to be there and to have this moment. So always Proverbs 3, 5 through 6. I rock 2 socials heavy. You go Instagram, you catch me at _O_show_. And IG, Twitter, I'm slowly, or X, whatever it is now, I'm slowly getting that up. Oshow94. So y'all got to tap in so you can see this interview. GOW. We're going to get this going. It's going to be fire.
Man, appreciate you.
Sir.
And as always, my guy, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of the GOW. I'm the franchise, he's the king, and he's the O Show. And with that being said, We'll see y'all when we see you. Peace.
Sayonara.